Oh, the big presentations today. I don't remember if I even brushed my teeth. My jacket's still damp, and I think I've drank a skosh too much coffee. The one thing I can't do is be late. Oh, is that my bus pulling away? This is a pretty stressful situation, to say the least, but I guess there's no better time to talk about Buspirone, a non-benzodiazepine anxiolytic used for generalized anxiety disorder. Then to represent Buspirone, we have a calming, anti-anxiety inducing busker. These tunes are enough to soothe any latecomers. Buspirone's mechanism of action hasn't been completely elucidated, but we do know that it acts on the 5-HT receptor, aka the serotonin receptor. As you may remember, serotonin is the neurotransmitter that's responsible for making you feel calm and happy, so we've drawn in our recurring serotonin happy face. More specifically, notice how these happy face stickers are partially folded over his guitar case, to remind you that Buspirone is a partial 5-HT1A receptor agonist. But there's more to this than meets the eye, or shall I say foot? Our busker is stepping on, or blocking, this dope rope attached to his D2 amp. A reminder that Buspirone is a weak dopamine D2 receptor antagonist. Well, there goes the bus, and looks like this guy might have to call in late for work. Again. Well, at least we can learn from this second street bus that Buspirone is used as second-line pharmacologic treatment for generalized anxiety disorder after SSRIs and SNRIs. Now, before we let the calming sounds of these wind chimes completely overtake us, let's quickly chat about Buspirone's side effects. Though Buspirone is less effective than the SSRIs and SNRIs, it's also less likely to cause weight gain and sexual dysfunction. In addition to that, Buspirone is less sedating and carries no risk of dependence, unlike the benzodiazepines and barbiturates. To remember that last point, we've posted this handy low risk of dependence B&B candy ad for your viewing pleasure. The side effects that Buspirone does have include headache and dizziness. We'll symbolize them here on this runner who just bumped her head into this sign. Her tight headband is our recurring symbol for headache, and the pigeon circling above her head, well, that's a reminder to be careful not to run into any signs, but it's also our recurring symbol for dizziness. One fact that you should keep in mind, as it's often tested on, is that Buspirone can trigger serotonin syndrome, since it increases serotonin activity in the brain, represented by this positive abundance of happy face balloons. Okay, the last point to know about Buspirone is that it can take up to 2 weeks to start feeling the anxiolytic effects after starting the drug. So, to remind you that Buspirone has a delayed onset of action, we've added this sign here that says regular service delayed 2 weeks. Bummer. And that's why Buspirone is not used to manage anxiety acutely. That's it for now, but before we head out, a quick summary. Buspirone is a non-benzodiazepine anxiolytic used as second-line pharmacologic treatment for generalized anxiety disorder. It's a partial 5-HT1A receptor agonist and dopamine D2 antagonist. While Buspirone is not nearly as effective as SSRIs and SNRIs, it has fewer side effects. It's also less sedating and carries low to no risk of dependence when compared to benzos and barbiturates. But remember that it has a delayed onset of action and should therefore not be used to treat panic attacks. The sweet sound of an anxiety-free mind.